What's happening, Vivian?
Well, I'm very excited. We just came off of UPW and it was really magnificent. The sign of progress is always present when you attend one of these fabulous events, and being here with you is continued progress.
Wonderful. And so with the Unblinded Real Raw, where influence is superpower, we have it here, and here is where we unleash it. So for you, Vivian, any breakthroughs that you want to share from your UPW weekend, or would you rather keep those to yourself?
No, I can share. I feel like I know that I have a fear of failure, and I know that I could accelerate more. I know that I have, one of the things that I am proud of, though, that I really felt that I was very proud of myself, is that in 2 years to the date since I went to my first UPW, is that I've made a lot of progress. I decided to commit and leave the auto show after a decade to pursue creating my show, Dishing It. And I've been making a lot of progress. I have a tendency to beat myself up for that which I don't really do, or when things are not going fast, and it takes me a very long time to get back on track. So I've decided and committed not to doing that anymore, and to be rating myself for that which isn't there, and to remind myself that we swam an ocean and the mountains are always going to be ahead of me, and to enjoy the trek ahead.
So I will share, thank you, Vivian, for that. And we're going to introduce our participants and guests shortly. But Tony and all, we are setting an intention and the outcome for the month of September. In our month of September, Tony, you ready for this? That our outcome is to have 1,000 people go through Real Raws in the month of September. Wow. So we are expanding our footprint and format in very meaningful and dramatic ways. And that is present. And as far as the last month or so has been the intense buildup of this, and we're 90 plus episodes in. And so we're going to be running somewhere around 4 Real Raws a day between Real Raws and Real Raw Opens.
Wow.
And our outcome is in 12 months, drum roll, bold outcome is that we're running 100 Real Raws a day. So the framework is being constructed. People are seeing their future in the work, and we are extremely excited for that. And this format of the Real Raw, like there'll be a Real Raw and everything else will be Real Raw Open, will be a certain criteria of achievement in the world in different space. And we're baking those final pieces out, and it is going to be a very, very exciting next 3 months on the Real Raw, with all the beautiful progress and incredible moments that have occurred up to this time. So Vivian, what say you? What are your thoughts on all that fun and excitement?
Well, I just know that I could barely make it through last night around 10 o'clock. I quit because of all that energy Tony has, and I marvel at your energy. And all I can say is, what are you drinking over there that I can get some of so I could get your energy?
Well, here we go. So you want to introduce our fine folks for today, or would you like some support from me?
Oh, well, no, I can introduce, but I mean, I just thought you're okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have Andy Zapata, and he is a serial entrepreneur who focuses on healthcare companies such as urgent cares, home health companies, diagnostic centers, medical centers, and physical therapy centers. He's currently the CEO and founder of Physical Therapy, now a franchise company with over 40 franchises, and voted top 100 franchises on Entrepreneur Magazine in 2020. He started several companies with a credit card and a credit limit of $10,000, now worth millions, by using the systems of ecosystems mergers, committed to building a great company. So welcome, Andy.
Andy, what's up, brother? Welcome. And my favorite story about Andy thus far, and Tom Falotico, because this would have been nothing we would have done in our childhood. And we'll get to Tom in a moment. So Andy, can you explain to all these fine folks how your early days of entrepreneurship launched? Like, what was your first business venture where you were calling your friends and asking to talk to their moms?
I'll keep it short because I know we're on a time crunch, but basically I was 16 years old. Parents were very low income, and I would see all my friends with these giant houses and giant cars and beautiful homes. And one day I'm at one of my buddy's house and I said, "Hey, that's a really big backyard." And I said, "Do you mind if I talk to your mom for just a second and your dad?" And then they said, sure. So Mr. and Mrs. come over and said, look, you have a beautiful backyard, a lot of patio. Do you mind if I just do a party and maybe I charge at the front $5 and I give you $500 and I promise you I'll clean the whole field and you won't have not even a bubble gum on anywhere. And she said, sure. What I did is I went to every single high school in the county and I spoke to the jocks. So the wrestling jock, the baseball captain, the football captain, and I gave them a stack of flyers like this big. And I said, listen, I want you to pass these out around school. Everybody you know, whoever you come with gets in free. It's $5. So anybody, just bring in $5 and I have a bunch of fun and DJs and liquor and whatever you guys want. So sooner or later, those parties would get filled with 1,000 people at $5. I was 16 years old. I was making $5,000, $2,000, $3,000 a weekend. And I did it all by ecosystem mergers.
Andy, I hate to burst your bubble, but that's a violation of law.
I know.
It's like bribery.
But good for you that you got through it and you became who you are. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is a violation of law.
You ready? And Thomas, you ready for this?
Sure.
And could you tell everybody, who did you have working security at your parties?
So it got to a point that I had just like regular bodyguards, and then it got to a point that the party was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I ended up having like off-duty police officers just like put on your lights and sit at the front. Don't come in the party. Just put on your lights, and I would pay the off-duty police officers I think it was like $40, $50 an hour. It was worth it for 4 hours. It's $200. Why wouldn't I do it?
Tony Rodriguez, is this entrepreneurship or what?
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, Tony Robbins says all the time, it's never a lack of resources, right? It's a lack of resourcefulness. So
That's it.
be resourceful.
That's it.
And
So-
I did that for my whole 4 years. And then I actually passed down the whole company to a couple of other wrestlers that took it to the next level. They started doing clubs, and some of them are still in that business. It's
And
crazy.
Andy, you wrestled in high school as well, correct?
I did. I
And how-
wrestled.
yes.
Wrestled in high school, went to Illinois to continue my wrestling career in college, and did very well. Came back to Miami to finish my schooling here.
Awesome, brother. Well, welcome, and enjoyed meeting up with you the weekend of Tony Robbins Lions at his house. So thank
It
you.
was fun. Yep.
It was. So Vivian, we have another incredibly accomplished guest that happens to be a long-term friend of, mine, Vivian.
Tom Falotico, former police officer and homicide detective for 10 years. He managed compliance for Novartis AG, America's region, for 15 years. And now he's the chief accountability officer at Calighi Law for a year and a half. So yeah, I guess you know him well.
Yes, and arguably has been mentioned as the best defensive football player in the history of our high school. We're high school teammates, Tom and I together, and he was the best player on a high school football team. And he was my first access, I often say this, into the world of personal development, because Tony, Adam, Vivian, Andy, Tom was doing like push-ups and pull-ups when we're like 11 and like counting them and doing more and like being crazy. So in his intensity, his focus, and like selfless with his body to the point that he was like an unbelievable high school football player. So Tom, welcome, pal.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate the introduction. And I'm paying for that. I think the 10 concussions I had in my teens are now catching up to me. I'm 50.
Yes.
I want
So
to see like a push-up, pull-up, like throwdown between the two of you now.
I throw down and challenge everybody to everything. The only player I was ever afraid of on an athletic field, and it's a true story. I was my first college baseball game. We played against Vanderbilt. I was a left-handed hitter. There was a left-handed pitcher throwing in the mid-90s, right? And I had no problem standing in, against his fastballs. He threw one in my face. I barely flinched, stared back at him. I faced another kid, Mike Mangiello, who played for Fairleigh Dickinson, would later go on to play professionally. He was throwing mid-90s and 3 for 4 against him, no problem. Played against a kid that played football at Notre Dame. This is high school football, Todd Stope from Bergen Tech. He was on my head at defensive end when I was, at receiver and sometimes playing tight end. No problem. The only person I was ever afraid of on an athletic field was, in fact, Tom Falotico. So we were 11 years old and 12 years old and 13 years old and 14 years old and 15, 16, 17, 18. He wanted to make sure he was demonstrating hierarchical primacy on the field. So no matter where the ball was, he would make sure he hit me and tried to kill me. So, yes, Tom Falotico, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I was a bit of a raging lunatic back in the day, but I've mellowed since.
He camouflages it. Well, Tom, when you were at Novartis compliance, just like contextualize this, how many folks, as you were head of compliance for Americas, how many folks were under that umbrella that you were head of that compliance for?
Yeah, the geography of North and South America and all of Novartis's affiliates encompassed about 60,000 employees. So I managed all of the allegations of improper conduct, malfeasance for that geography of companies and region.
So like said differently, you were like the head honcho of the police for Novartis for like 60,000 people. Is that at least a fair like part of what you did or no?
Yeah, very much. Very, very accurate. Correct.
Yeah. All right. So yes, everybody watch. Tom is watching you, right? So we have Jan Hargrave, Tom Falotico, and company. Yes.
We have Adam Gugino as one of our judges today. Chief Revenue Officer Adam Blinded grew a company from 4 million to 750 million. Don't look shocked. I could see you. You're smirking. You know you did this. Built a 400 square foot call center from an empty warehouse to a team of 500. And of course, I was told not to say this, but it's too delicious. You love cats, probably just as much as I do.
Adam Gugino, ladies and gentlemen, and heart-centered, unbelievable human being. And we met Tony Rodriguez, which we'll tell in a second. We met Adam Gugino and I at, where do we meet, Adam?
At Joseph McClendon's event. Tony Rodriguez?
Yeah. Oh, no, we met him, but when did you and I meet? Where?
Oh, we met. Yeah. Well, I met you and saw you on stage at Business Mastery. And then we met at Capitol Grill for dinner for the first time.
Through the Tony Robbins ecosystem. So a lot of intersections there for sure. Adam, brother, it's, love you, man. And let's rock and roll today. And then we have, of course, one more incredible person, Vivian.
Yes, we do. We have one TR here in the house, Tony Rodriguez. And he helps people grow through their pain as he does his Tony Talks. And he's also a Tony Robbins trainer. He's a remarkable person who is an entrepreneur, also was in real estate for a gazillion years. And he started at the age of 8. So he's a really wonderful human who is also a beekeeper and has chickens, eggs, and a farm and his eggs. And he just got laid. I just have to insert that whenever I can.
and Tony, brother, you are. Thank you, Vivian. Yes, Tony has just got laid is his beautiful brand eggs that are on his property. And what is present for me is the incredible generosity of your time and your heart to help and give to people in the Tony Robbins world and everything that you do, things that, people you've met here, time you spend on the real raw, and you are a remarkable and phenomenal human being, Mr. Tony Rodriguez.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I like to surround myself with like-minded and like-hearted people that are on the same on the same wavelength as I am, and this is why I love spending time with you and so many of the great participants and people that are involved within Blinded. So I'm happy to be here.
No, thank you, brother. And
no, Sean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Tony Rodriguez. I just had that epiphany the other day. He's the one who got me tickets, me and Chinwei, to come see you at Unblinded. So if it hadn't been because of that, I wouldn't have seen you and just fallen in love with you, Sean, and been here.
Well, I'm in love with Tony Rodriguez. There's like a mutual admiration society. And Vivian, for real, you are utterly amazing, and the energy that you bring. It's just like the gravitational pull you have. So thank you. And I always say this, that if anybody is running and doing anything and they're like launching something and Vivian is not a part of what you would do to introduce it, make your energy a part of it, make her energy a part of your energy a part of it, you're making an objective error. So Vivian, thank you again for everything that you do.
Thank you. I'm your role player today.
You're the role player, Tony Rodriguez and Adam up for judging. Let's roll into it with Andy and Tom. Andy, since you are the guest and coming from Florida and being an amazing entrepreneur that you are, I'm going to put either a 1 or a 2 under this table and have you guess which it is.
2.
It is a 1. I'm changing it up on everybody regularly. So
No.
yes, so we have a 1 today. Tom Falotico, would you like to go first or second?
Second.
All right. So Andy, you're going to take us in, and who would you like who would you like Vivian to be?
Vivian would be, CEO of a hospital.
Nice. Ooh.
Gonna go big time here.
We're gonna
CEO of the hospital. Okay, great. Thank you.
And Andy, as I think of it, there's hospitals would be amazing clients for us at Calgary as well. So we should do some mutual stuff. I think there's a lot of things that we can do in South Florida. We represent 20 hospitals in New Jersey, and so we're looking to roll that out in other jurisdictions as well. So love that you're choosing that. Didn't even think that was something that you're like big thing you're doing in the world. So Andy, take us in.
All right. Vivian, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
So what are you guys doing these days here for the hospital? I see there's this crazy pandemic going on. I'm sure you have your hands full. I wanted to see if maybe one of these days we can hang out and just see if maybe I can help you in with some of this, some of these services that you guys are not offering in the hospital.
Oh, that's very curious for you to say that. I'm really at a max for time. In fact, I don't even have much time now. I only have like less than 3 minutes. As you can tell, it's really a really difficult time. So how would you help me out? I'm curious to hear this.
Well, listen, I know that, again, I know I want to be sensitive to your time, and I know you're very busy, but, you know, I see that you guys don't offer physical therapy to your patients. And for these COVID patients that are happening right now, one of the things that we're doing is the post-COVID, a lot of the patients that you've had the severe cases with are going to need a little bit of more physical activity to get back to normal. And I was just wondering, what are you doing with your cases now, post-op or post-discharge? Are you bringing them back like the surgeries, or just letting them go and they find their own course?
Well, as of now, we're overbooked, so a lot of them are just going home, and most people are better advised to do their physical therapy outside of the hospital, quite frankly, just for their own health, because we still don't know if they can get the virus again. So we're overbooked. There's no place for the physical therapy at this moment. Yeah. I
know. I'm sorry to hear, and I'm sure that you have your hands full. But what I want to do is I want to maybe set up another meeting later on after this whole pandemic. I'll reach out to you and then just show you a little bit about what we're doing. And if it makes sense that I can help you out, maybe I can be that person, that extra arm that you guys need in the community.
So before I do go, what are you proposing exactly within our existing framework to be able to have physical therapy? What is your suggestion to break through with where we are now?
So what we do is we have a certain amount of physical therapy centers throughout the state of Florida. And I wanted just to show you that in your hospital, you guys are not performing the physical therapy because you're outsourcing it. And I see that you're sending to a lot of different providers, and patients are kind of just finding their own way. But what I wanted to do is maybe if we work things out, maybe I can be like your preferred vendor or one of your vendors that you say that you've vetted our organization and that we share the same mission and vision. And if we have some synergies, maybe we can get some of those patients to make sure that they are an extension of your hospital.
Okay. I think I have to take this call right now, but I'll definitely consider that. Thank
you very much, Vivian, for your time. Really appreciate it.
Vivian, how'd that feel for you? Excellent. Good work, Andy. Vivian?
I love that he came in with a solution to a problem. I felt like I don't know, a little unsure, but optimistic.
Got it. Okay, excellent. Adam, what do you have? And judges will go 45 seconds of feedback. The buzzer will go off at 40, so then try to wrap it like in the next 5 seconds. So Adam, what do you got?
So, hey, Andy, when he just started the conversation with an ask, I thought that was a little difficult for anybody to say yes there when Vivian really wasn't aware of what he could offer. I did love, though, the first question. I might have done it a little bit later, which was a pain point question. It was a breaking the certainty, like, what are you doing? Making her really think, like, what are you doing for aftercare, considering the challenges that people are having with COVID. So I think that could have really opened up her listening to what he can offer. But he gave up a little quickly there. You could call it, it's an old school language, Sean. I know we don't use it, but it almost was the takeaway close, which he kind of stepped back and was ready to go. And she's like, well, wait, I want to hear more. But yeah, I don't know if I would have recommended that direction, but it worked out. And his tone, his energy was great. I loved his energy. Overall, I would give it a 7.5.
All right, excellent. And Tony?
Okay, so I think that, again, your energy was great and your confidence was there. So that's what was good. I think you had a bit of a rough intro because you just, and Adam stated this, you went and you started right from an ask. Said, listen, when do we get to hang out? I want to tell you what I can do to help you out. You didn't find a pain point yet. You already went to a perceived solution. So you assumed that. And frankly, that hospital may already have had a physical training center that they're already working with, and you wouldn't know because you didn't ask. So sometimes making that presumption could shut you down really fast. So you really need to establish that rapport, right? You didn't establish the rapport right from the get-go. So she, gently played along, but I don't know if you were on the phone with the CEO that would have been as well received.
Last 5 seconds, Tony.
Yeah, you said several times that I know you have your hands full. I know you have your hands full. So that was shutting her off more. Like, yeah, I do have my hands full. And then you also said I have a certain amount of physical therapy. You got to say I have 73 physical therapy centers all around you. So, and then you went right for the preferred vendor. Again, you needed to sell her on like wanting more from you is what I wanted more,
Got it. Good advice.
So score, I'd probably give you a 7.
Excellent. Yeah, I have some thoughts, Andy. I'll give some feedback after both rounds because I want to put some things together. But yeah, there's huge access in a couple spots. Excellent work. Tom Falotico, who would you like Vivian to be?
I want Vivian to be the founder of Dishing It.
Whoa, Tom coming in. There we go. All right.
And I'm a potential service provider.
All right.
I'm sorry? What was the last thing you said?
I'm a potential service provider to Dishing It.
All right. Take us in. Countdown.
So Vivian, I understand that you started a company called Dishing It. Can you explain to me something about what you're doing and what it means to you?
What was the last part of the question?
If you could explain to me what you're doing with Dishing It and what it means to you and why you're doing it.
Oh, thank you so much for asking that question, Tom. I have moved a lot, and I come from a multicultural background, and I've had a health crisis, and I know what it's like to have persevered and overcome a lot of different parts of my life. And I feel so deeply when I was as a presenter traveling the auto shows and not being able to even consume any food, the importance of being able to eat not only healthy foods, but still have conversations and the camaraderie of having people around me to share everything that we were going through. So it gave me the idea to create this show when I was on the road. So it means everything to me. It's my life. And it's a place where we can find a place of belonging. And so that's what Dishing It means to me.
Wow, that's pretty profound. You mentioned a health crisis. Without prying, it sounds like Dishing It was born out of, in part, that health crisis for you?
Yes.
And it sounds like that Dishing It is the solution to the problem that you found while with the auto show.
Dishing It was something that definitely came from all the suffering that came from thinking that I was dying. I was losing my hair. I was having a lot of issues, and my body was, falling apart. I gained 15 pounds. I got fired from one job. I got hired from another. And it was just a lot. And it gave me this idea that it doesn't have to be this difficult, and that there has to be an answer, and that we have to have better conversations, not only about how we take care of our bodies, but everything that we all go through, all the perseverance. But I want people to be able to get something from it. So that's why I created the show as well.
So this is clearly a labor of love.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges that you're encountering as you're starting this new venture?
Absolutely. It's I started out with people coming to my home and, loving up on them with the foods and bringing all these wonderful international foods that I want everybody to dare to make and do themselves, because they can. That's another thing. People always get overwhelmed with, international foods and how many spices and all of that stuff. So, yeah, sorry, what?
No, I think you answered the question. So if there's one biggest challenge that you could overcome, that would mean the difference to you and dishing it, what would that one challenge be?
Well, it would be great to have a view, a network that would carry my show. It would be great to have an audience. It would be great for me to be able to have more help in what I'm trying to do, to have all of the things the way that I see the show. I'm one person and it takes a lot, and now I'm doing everything digitally. So I'm filming, I'm editing or hiring, finishing editing parts of it, and lining up my talent. So it's a one-woman show, and it's very difficult to do it all fast enough or compounded enough. And so yeah, there's a lot of parts that need help there.
Maybe you gotta grab a quick call, and then we'll bounce back to Tom in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Like, okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So Vivian, one word, how'd that feel?
Great.
Great.
Had me thinking.
Awesome. All right, let's drop in. Adam Gagina, what do you have for Tom Falotico?
Okay, so clearly a best friend for years, and so I'll be very specific too with my critique, because it was a great job. I loved just opening up with the why, the what, great validation, acknowledgement, understanding what she had said. So deep listening came in. The only thing, and the questions were short. I love the short questions. I love the emotional rapport building. It may have sounded a little robotic when, like, labor of love, maybe a little, labor of love, like just a little more feeling behind the energy, maybe a little more variance around the energies. But other than that, just incredible. Got to the number one pain point. I mean, amazing. I thought, really good job. 9.8.
Whoa, big number out of Adam Gagino.
Oh.
And Adam Gagino is one tough scorer, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a big number. Tony, what do you got?
All right. What was great, you established amazing emotional rapport with her really quickly. You showed interest in her and what she does, and kind of speaking about her show and what she's passionate about and why she started it. So you got to a little bit of the pain point. You had a great question. What are there any challenges, and what's the one challenge that you're facing? So you had her talking about that. Again, great validation, as Adam said. But it left me wondering what it is. Now, granted, I know that there is going to be a part 2, but what is it that this call is about? Who are you, Tom?
Yeah, I was a potential service provider, and I was going to make an offer to her.
Oh, no, I get it. I just didn't know what kind of service. So it was.
I was going to make it up. I mean, this is kind of all somewhat fictitious. So I was going to make it up that I was going to facilitate addressing one challenge she had. If she gave me an opportunity with, no money up front, and I'd get it done for her. And
well, that's part 2. Hold on, don't go too far. That's
I just assumed he was going to get into that. Yeah.
No, but I know, but there's still, for me, there would have to be a reason. Okay, it was a great conversation, but so
how did it start?
But that was fantastic. So I'll give that. That was freaking. That was stellar. I'm gonna give you a 9.
Excellent. All right, so we're on to round 2. I'll give some feedback after round 2. And so in this round, Tom chose to go second. So that means Andy chooses in the second round. Andy, would you like to go first or second in the second round?
I'll go second.
Cool. All right, Tom, you can continue away with Vivian and take us in.
Great. So Vivian, you mentioned some of the challenges being a one-woman shop and the logistics, networking, access. What if I offered to you my services free of charge for the first month to help facilitate accomplishing or addressing the one challenge you have by way of getting in front of different producers, a network, et cetera, et cetera? Would that be of interest to you?
Yeah, I have been seeing a lot of different people in that capacity, but to see more would be absolutely amazing.
I have a number of friends who are producers, both at NBC and CBS, and I could facilitate meetings with you, with each of them at those 2 different networks.
Sounds lovely.
And then we see where it goes. If it makes sense for you, if it makes sense for me, we see where it goes beyond that. But the first month, free of charge, no obligation. I want to do it for you as a friend, and we see where it goes.
So you're going to help me open up doors and have introductions with NBC. What about you? What would you like to see in the long term?
Well, longer term, I think I can help facilitate this business and grow it. from a different perspective. I think there's a lot of value that I can bring by way of helping manage your staff by identifying and delegating certain tasks. You can stay focused on the issues that are most important to you, and I can manage the back of the house a bit more efficiently while you do your thing on the front of the house.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And again, we see where it goes. I want it to work for you as well as for me. If it doesn't work for you, it's not going to work for me.
Have you done this before?
I have probably about 10 years experience in doing this kind of work for different people that are launching shows for different networks.
Okay. I like this. This is good. Sure.
Super. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Excellent work. Adam, what do you have for Tom?
Well, I love the way right off the bat, isolated the pain point and got the yes strategy around what to offer. I would have liked more on the heroic unique identity. Clearly there was, you could hear with listening to Vivian that she was a little confused. She was unsure around who you are, what's in it for you. I don't know if you ever really solved that problem. I think in the back of her mind, she's still questioning who are you, why, and how much can you help? I mean, that would be the one thing. I mean, overall, energy was good. Would have liked more again on the heroic unique identity. I think it dropped down to about an 8.1.
All right. Tony, what do you got for Tom?
You're on mute.
I just said the smartest things I've ever said in those 30 seconds.
I love you, Tony.
Damn it.
Secrets to life right there. So what I was saying is, again, you came in with great energy, great enthusiasm, got to her pinpoint, offered her solutions, made your offer of, it's free for the first 30 days and we'll see where it goes from there. Again, I would still say, okay, and after 30 days, what does that mean? Do you get 50% of my business? What, I know you're going to run the back of the house, but I don't really want a boss. It just left a few questions for me.
Sure.
And again, I know that this is a role play, and normally there's somebody that's here offering a real service, or something more, more solid, I guess we'll say. But I think it was good. I think you flowed really smooth. You've been hanging out with that guy Sean a lot, because you've got that. You're very smooth in your delivery for sure. You can tell you've been doing this what this is for a while, and you do it well. So, but again, because I still wanted a little bit more, I'm going to stick with the 9.
Yeah. So Tony, if there was a crime you didn't commit, couldn't Tom very happily influence you integriously to admit you did it, even if you didn't? I'm just kidding.
Right? No, well, you know what? He is very smooth in that way. So I can see him being able to draw things out of you. Certainly, yeah, I didn't, but I could see myself doing it. So you're saying it's a possibility.
Tom, great job, pal.
Thanks for the feedback, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, our scores, Tony, your score and my scores, I think they average right out to about that 9 with that 9.8 and 8.1. So yeah, right on point.
All right, so Andy's going to go again. So Andy, let's drop in on that. Are you ready? So
ready.
In this round, it's like another call with Vivian, or it can be an extension of the phone, same call. She's a little bit rushed. She's back on the line. And what if I have some thoughts and ideas? Would you like to share them before you go or after you go? It's up to you.
Before is fine.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So ready, Vivian, ring. Let's just play this. I'm going to give myself a quick 3-minute countdown. Countdown 3 minutes. Okay. So, hi, Vivian. Is Vivian Guzman available?
Yes.
Is this Vivian?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Vivian. It's an honor and privilege to be speaking with you. My name is Andy Zapata. Do you still have, I know we had a scheduled call. Is it still okay? I know you had only about 3 minutes.
Yeah. 3 minutes is great.
Okay, awesome. So, Vivian, I own 35 physical therapy centers in the area, and am a young entrepreneur who grew up in this area. And what I would love to chat about in the 2.5 minutes that I have left is just about who you are, how things are going at your facility. And by the way, congratulations on being CEO.
Wow, thank you. It's been more of a challenge than it is to feel like a compliment right now with all the challenges we face, but thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for all the great work you're doing, keeping people safe. And I can't even imagine the myriad of issues. My centers, we're very collateral to these dynamics. We are certainly impacted, economically, and it's complicated. But man, like what you must be going through, I can't even imagine. So thank you for that. And how are you doing?
We're doing what you're speaking of, and right now what you say sounds really appropriate for this time frame as a service that might be of interest to me. So I'm kind of happy that you called.
I appreciate it very, very much. So quick question, the vision of the hospital and the challenges, and I know there's Corona, but aside from that, the economics of the hospital, the model, patient care, how would you look at the vision you have in your role as CEO for where you're taking the facility?
For me, it's just to have every patient recover and have their health at optimal level and feel like this is the place to go when anything goes wrong.
Yeah, well, I hear that, and I hear your heart in that. Would it be okay if I shared a little, actually, let me ask you one thing. And what challenges are you facing aside from Corona? What are the challenges in accelerating that outcome of really making sure patients are taken care of, recovering? Any challenges that you're facing?
So, you name it. There are so many people's needs that we just can't meet. There's the volume of people that we have. We are short-staffed. We have programs that we just can't really manage completely. So to bring in people who have added vision to the table that can bring up new solutions would be amazing.
Wow. Okay. Would it be okay if I shared just for myself for about a minute before we have to go?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm hearing those challenges. I'm hearing overwhelm. I'm hearing acceleration, desire, heart, and a lot of complex things. And just really quickly, what I'm seeing, Vivian, or who I am, is I was a young entrepreneur growing up. I did not grow up with money. And I understood a long time ago that having vision for relations with people is really what my heart's all about. And that's how I went from having nothing, starting on a $10,000 loan that my mother was so generous and kind to have a credit card and to let me and another of my friends' mothers use that $10,000 credit card advance to build what now is 35 franchises in the area. And all I'd love to do is see if you give me 15 more minutes of your time at some point to discuss how we could serve your patients in the space of physical therapy. And I could just become more involved with the facility is maybe one of those people, I don't know if I have the vision, but who might just have a little bit to help with all the crazy things that are going on to take care of some of these incredible patients. And would that be worth it for your time to hear me out on that a little bit and explore some of your challenges a bit more?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Well, thank you, Vivian, and . So how did that feel for you, Vivian?
Wonderful. You acknowledged me. You leaned into that. You shared a little bit about yourself. I loved your personality as it came out, and it made me feel like I wanted to know more because you had gusto and heart and fight in you.
Cool. All right. Tony, how'd that feel for you before we drop back to Andy real quick?
Sorry.
Great. That was great. I think that, you're allowing her to open up and share what her pain point was, what her possibility was. And then you came in and presented your unique heroic identity and what you have to offer and, offer your services as opposed to, it was just a smoother way of doing it. So I think that was brilliant.
Thank you. All right, Andy, how'd that feel for you?
It was beautiful. It was great. I think the acknowledgement that you gave her as a CEO of the hospital just really warmed up the conversation a little bit, and asking her about her pain points. It opens up the conversation to maybe providing some of those solutions or not, but at least hearing her out and her difficulties at these times.
All right. Well, how about you ready to drop in?
Let's try it.
Take us in, brother.
Hi, Vivian. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. I know we have a short couple of minutes here, but how are you doing with this whole pandemic in the hospital? I wanted to ask you, I can't imagine the things that you're going through right now at the hospital.
Yeah, I'm super overwhelmed right now. I have like 3 minutes. It's just challenging to make sure that everybody's needs are met right now.
I can imagine, and as a CEO of a hospital in this entirely of pandemic times, I'm sure that you have your workload full, and there's a lot of different things going on. And I just want to thank you for keeping our community safe, and I really acknowledge that. And young female entrepreneur CEO, it's can be some challenging times for you. Just want to thank you. And just want to introduce myself really quick. My name is Andy Zapata, and as you know, we have 35 franchises in our area, and the franchises that we have is physical therapy. And I know that as a healthcare provider, that you also provide a lot of these services, or might need to provide some of these services. Wanted just to tell you that we're here. We acknowledge you. We thank you for what you've done. And maybe if you have a few more minutes, one of these days after this entire pandemic passes through, we can share some of our vision and our mission for the community, and maybe we can engage and treat some of your patients.
I was wondering what you had to offer. What is your value proposition? Why would we choose?
Yeah, Vivian, so what we do is, again, like I said, we have 35 locations in South Florida. And I know that this particular hospital that you work at does not offer these services. So because of this whole COVID, a lot of the patients are going to end up with sequela diagnoses, and they might need physical therapy. And I just wanted to see if I can be that provider for you. If later on, if I know, again, we're on a time crunch, but if we can meet afterward, and I'll show you some of our locations, what they look like, and what we offer.
And what is your heart and mission in this that you do?
Yeah, a lot of the patients that go into like elective surgery or after COVID, they're developing these weakness in the extremities and just in the respiratory system. And what we do at physical therapy now, we strengthen the respiratory system by doing respiratory therapy, or just physical therapy and occupational therapy to all of the patients. And so I know that it's going to be an added benefit for the patients to get some physical therapy afterward.
Are you located nearby? Can you tell me a little bit more?
Yeah. So in the area that you're in, which is South Florida, we have 35 locations, and in each location, it's probably a 8 to 10 mile radius between each one. And so we have a giant coverage for all of the patients that might be from your hospital to access the physical therapy centers.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So again, thank you for your time, Vivian. What I'll do is I'll reach back out to you, if that's okay, with your permission. I'll reach out to you maybe some other time. And I know, again, we're caught up in this whole COVID crisis. But afterward, I'd love to sit down, maybe have a cup of coffee with you, and just explain to you and show you exactly what we want to do for you.
Okay. Well, I'll have my secretary call you and set up a date.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
All right. Good work, Andy. Vivian, how'd that feel for you?
It was clunky because I really wanted him to show me how passionate and why he really, his heroic, unique identity, I guess, and how it would align with mine. But
like I could see, so Andy, where I would go is, like what we're here to do is just take care of these patients. The reason that I started out and had high school parties when I didn't know people, and the parents said yes to having me rent their backyard for $500 and 1,000 people there, to building these franchises, these 35 franchises plus my corporate facilities, starting on my credit card. It's because I care about people, and they feel it. They know it.
Right.
Like you feel that energy present. Like literally, could you feel that, Vivian?
yes.
Yeah. And Andy, that is who you are. And by the way, this is like on in front of people, and this is the thing. So Andy's amazing. So those micro distinctions, though, like boom. So Tony, what do you have for Andy?
100%.
Yeah.
So I think Andy did a lot better this time around. And I think he took coaching well from you. So seriously, one of the greatest things is to be coachable and to be able to adapt, right? Because that's how we grow, by taking and remaining coachable and teachable. So I love that you kind of tapped into into her and gave her acknowledgement, because acknowledgement obviously is important. One of the things I probably would have added, and I would have liked to have heard you say, and I maybe have you considered this, is I'd love to have the opportunity to continue the great service you've already provided for them.
I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
Because you're giving them that by saying, I know, without saying it, you're saying, I know you provided them great service, and we're just going to be the extension. And we have, maybe you can have, listen, we have thousands, however, we have thousands of raving fan customers, satisfied clients, happy customers, whatever it is. One of our 73 certified, whatever is, we have somebody that speaks every language. We have, give them a little bit more depth that maybe the average, because I'm sure you do. I'm sure not everybody just speaks one or two languages. So what makes you different? So maybe it's the fact that you do have a lot of different, again, the fact that you have so many centers, obviously you have somebody that speaks Spanish and somebody that speaks, the different languages in the area. So I would just kind of give your unique identity of what you offer, that maybe even if you offer the same thing that others do, highlight the things that they don't usually highlight, like maybe multicultural, multinational, multilingual service providers. So
100%.
Great. I'm going to bump you up to, I'm going to give you an 8.75.
Thank you, sir. That was great.
Awesome.
Thank you. Great feedback.
Adam.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I could go on for several minutes on this one, but I won't. But only because I would love the opportunity to coach him on this, because I was calling you the comeback kid as you started. You really took the feedback well, and then you kind of tailed off in regard to your Zeus energy, your confidence, your heroic, unique identity. A lot of the language was timid, but yet you just have so much potential. Your heart is felt. It's just like you're right there. A couple of tweaks around the questions, walking away with a maybe in the future when this whole pandemic is over, and yet you have so much value to offer her right now, and she wanted it. You heard it, and I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, she wants it, give it to her. And you just, oh man. But just, you could tell why you're so successful, and what a great guy you are, and what a great entrepreneur. It's just so, yeah, there's just a lot of opportunity there, but overall, great job. Great energy, and I say 8.5.
Thank you, Adam. Good
Andy,
feedback, Tony.
Oh, good, Andy. I'm sorry.
No, great feedback. I really take that feedback, and thank you, Tony, and thank you, Adam. Good stuff.
And Andy's going to be on the mastery call tomorrow night as we roll through some things, Adam and Tony, if you feel like being there as well. And so, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Andy. How was it for you today, Andy?
It was a little nerve-wracking because I wasn't expecting to go first, boom, like that. So I think I didn't get my mind prepared, but it was good. I really like to learn. I really like to teach. So everything that you guys teach me and help me learn, I will be passing it down to my team, and hopefully one day have the skill set to be able to mentor other individuals younger than me or older.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Andy, that you have a very bright future in the world. Well, you have a bright present, but in the space of training, leading, developing people. So thank you, brother.
I'll say this, if I can just jump in there.
Oh.
You already have the ability to mentor other people that came from where you came from. You don't have to become any more than you are now. You just have to, because at every level that we're at, we can mentor the people that are behind us.
Absolutely.
Good
Keep
point,
going,
Tony.
bro.
Appreciate that. I do mentor a little bit, but with no system, kind of say. I just mentor what their needs are, but I do have some students and some franchises actually that I have to mentor into success, right?
Dude, you have 35 franchises.
You've got to be mentoring now, right?
I'm a mentor already, but
Dude, not many
Yeah.
people ever get to having 35 franchises, brother. And
Thank
that's,
you.
remarkable where you're at. And it's an honor. Thank you. Tom Falotico, how was today for you? Thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, this was a great exercise, and the feedback from some accomplished professionals is always appreciated. So thank you so much for the feedback, and I really enjoyed it.
All right. Absolutely.
Love you, Tom.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thanks, man.
Tony. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Vivian, how was today for you?
I am so thankful and blessed to be here. It's always a great opportunity. You're continually learning by seeing other people trying to develop emotional rapport. And you're like, oh my God, yes. You have to compliment. Yes, don't forget the value of sharing who you are and why you're passionate. Yes, I need to tighten this up. Yes, I need to, think about before I call this person what I'm really asking for. Yes, it's like every single time you see something, you're always picking something up that that you can, better next time or, work on next time.
Excellent work, Vivian. Tony, how about yourself? How was today for you, sir?
Listen, this was great. Again, I've not been a judge in a while, even though I do step in usually and make some comments. But it's great to actually see somebody else be the role player as well, to see how she's interacting and the questions that are being asked. And again, you're just looking at it from a different lens. So always great, always great to learn from great people. Listen, Andy, I've got a lot to learn from you. I've never had 35 franchises. And Tom, listen, at some point, being able to go in and do the kind of stuff that you've done, you're good. And listen, just always good to be here and share and learn. Adam, Sean, you guys are brilliant at what you do as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
As are you. And Adam, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just every time the micro distinctions of the formula within two incredibly accomplished men who have been so successful in everything they've done in life, and yet we still find areas in which we can all work on. And then I even hear, I'm blown away by the judges of today and even earlier, how they hear things that I missed within the formula, and they don't even know the formula. So it's just, every time I'm a part of one of these, I feel blessed and grateful. And Andy, Tom, amazing job today. Great job.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Adam.
You know why, Adam? And everybody? Because we're all blind and just learning to see. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.